under first-year head coach Jamie Dixon. Mitch Holthus and Brendan Manzer in Fort Worth, guys.
There's some purple excitement in Fort Worth. One of their own is back to lead their basketball program, and there is pride back with the Frogs of TCU tonight. They host number 6 Baylor. Good evening, everybody. Mitch Holthus with you, along with Brendan Manzer. As Jamie Dixon made the decision to leave Pitt, 17 years at Pitt, 13 as the head coach, came back to his alma mater, where he led the Frogs to the NCAA tournament as a point guard. But tonight he's got to deal with the team that has got a #1 seed and a resume in the Baylor Bears and one of the best in the country.
Jonathan Motley coming off 32-20 against Texas on Tuesday night. You know he can play with his back to the basket, but he's expanded his offensive game, the ability to put it on the deck against larger defenders. And then, oh yeah, he can rebound out of his area, uses athleticism and length. 7 offensive rebounds on Tuesday night. Huge night, and he is raring to go, I promise you.
A 30-20 night, 32 points and 20 rebounds against Texas. Only the 4th player in Big 12 history to have a 30-20. 2 of the other 3 named Kevin Durant and Blake Griffin. It is on tonight in Fort Worth, and number 6 Baylor will have the first chance. Joe DeRosa, Pat Adams, and Brooke Wells working the game. And a 3 knocked down by Manu Lecomte, the Baylor point guard.
And you talk about Motley's skill to score, but how about going along the baseline, avoiding the double team, and finding Lecomte for the spot-up 3 right there.
There's your starting 5 for TCU. Fisher leads the way, highest-ranked recruit ever to sign with the Frogs. Brodzianski's the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week.
And they want to get him touches, particularly below the free throw line against Baylor's zone. He worked a lot on that this afternoon in shoot-around.
Okay, TCU is relentless on the boards. They've out-rebounded 14 opponents this season. It is one of the main things that Jamie Dixon has brought to the Purples.
And you look at the success Jamie Dixon had against Syracuse in the Big East, running their zone. They will attack the offensive glass against Baylor here tonight.
Dixon was 15-6 against Jim Boeheim and the Syracuse Orange. Fight to shoot, great spin. Williams, heck of a move by Kenrich Williams.
Boy, Williams, such a smart, tough player, really flies under the radar in terms of really good players in this league. Gives them tremendous versatility on the offensive end.
Miller wants help against Jonathan Motley. No double, and Motley scores. We thought that early Jamie Dixon wanted to double in the post. Miller was calling for help.
You see Motley right there. No double team. The recognition and then the patience to work his way just a little bit deeper so he can go over that right shoulder.
Baylor defensively has been brilliant. Top 7 in the country. Defensively, Scott Drew in his 14th year at Baylor, but 17-1 this year. He wins tonight. It's the best start in Baylor history.
Scott Drew has built one of the most consistent programs in all of the country. For the last 5 years, been to the NCAAs. And every year you think he loses guys that he can't replace. And he does it year in and year out.
And already he has beaten Oregon, Louisville, Xavier, Michigan State. That's why this team has the resume of a #1 seed. Fisher for 3. And Brodzianski is getting after it. And now J.D. Miller is fouling this young right.
Well, the intensity level in here, Mitch, big time between these two teams. Now watch the miss. You see Brodzianski right in the middle of it. There's Achuil and Wainwright. You think this game is important in the middle of conference season for these two teams?
Well, TCU has lost 18 in a row against ranked opponents since their incredible victory over Kansas in 13 when 264 beat a 1. Now Motley somehow gets open underneath. Almost like a flex cut low and got it way too deep against the TCU defense.
One of the things, if you've watched Baylor this year, and you see, and rightly so, getting Motley touches every offensive possession to begin the game. But when he doesn't get his touches, and if things aren't going well offensively, you'll see LeConte, Freeman, Wainwright, or Lindsey when he's in the game recognize that the momentum's not in their favor, and they'll go right back to getting Motley those touches. They understand time, score, and tempo.
As much as any team that they've had, maybe since their Elite Eight team of 10. They went to the Elite Eight in 12, but these guys get it, and when the heat comes on, they know how to handle it. It's been impressive. Motley splits a pair, 67% at the line. 5 of his last 7 games, double-doubles. I'm telling you, TCU is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country now.
How about Brodzianski timing the ball and tapping it out front?
Where the Frogs getting some great looks and cannot get them knocked down. But Baylor's length, how much of that is disrupted?
Yeah, Achuel right there alters the shot, even though you feel like you've got good position on the interior.
Motley picks up an offensive foul.
With TCU really solid defensively under Jamie Dixon. He's a great teacher of that end of the floor. Brodzianski certainly squared up. Did a terrific job once Motley created the contact, selling it, and they get the turnover.
TCU goes to the bench early. Jake Lindsey is in. He has had a good year. They also go to Terry Maston. Reach in. This will go against Freeman of the Bears.
And if you watch TCU tonight, they do what you have to do against Scott Drew's zone. You have to get the ball below the free throw line, flat along the baseline. You can't throw it out up front. That just allows them to extend their length that much more. You got to be disciplined and get below that free throw line.
Well, Robinson has been knocking down that shot with regularity. So Fisher and Robinson both with good looks. The same thing with Brodzianski. And Jamie Dixon will go to the bench early as well. Robinson, we had the game against Oklahoma here. He basically bailed him out when OU made a run at him.
Keep an eye on Motley. Kavor Shepherd with that assignment. And TCU will mix up the times they go double and the times they do not. They want to keep the bigs of Baylor guessing on the block all night.
Well, great post entry. Maston, a little tough on the angle. Kenrich Williams missing the 3. He's only made 2 of his last 16 3-point attempts.
But good movement right there. When you have both Fisher and Robinson out on the perimeter for TCU, you have 2 guys that put your defense on its heels with their constant ability and willingness to look to drive.
LeConte a 3 off the tip out. And Baylor can rebound too. They're the all wingspan team. It's like 4 guys that have over a 7-foot wingspan on this team. LeConte sets up. Motley inside, but TCU making it hard. And it's out of bounds to TCU. And the intensity is here tonight in Fort Worth. 2 longtime rivals are squaring off.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Samuel Adams, Pursue Better.
Back at Shomar Arena in Fort Worth, Texas, Baylor with the early lead 6-2, but every shot has been contested both ways. Mitch Holthus with you along with Brendan Manzer. Baylor number 6, They played an incredible schedule. Can they challenge Kansas to win the Big 12?
Well, that's why this game is so big, and I think it's why the intensity level is great at both ends of the floor. Remember, opening game in Big 12 conference play, Kansas won a grinder in this building. So that's one leg up for Baylor, who has one loss. So this is a huge game for them, and I promise you, although they may not talk about it publicly, those guys in the locker room, Jonathan Motley and his teammates, understand that, because right now you have West Virginia 2 losses, and they're in a dogfight down the stretch against K-State as we speak. So this is a huge game for Baylor, but also, Mitch, for TCU.
For TCU, yeah.
You know, they win this game through 7 games in Big 12 conference play, they would be in the upper half of the Big 12. Now think about that.
Well, he'll also be 15-4. Robinson on a possession save with an offensive rebound. Robinson 35% from 3. But he had 18 against Oklahoma, and many of those were threes at critical times.
And they have struggled to make shots out of the gate, but it's not because they haven't executed well. And I love the confidence of TCU, not making shots, but not letting it affect their play at both ends of the floor.
All right, here's a look at your standings. There's 2 stories here. Baylor challenging Kansas. But look at the drain clog in the middle.
Right there. I mean, that's TCU right in the middle of it.
But you came into the weekend where 3 teams in the league were 3-3 with the exact overall records at 14-4. Now Tech lost today at home to Oklahoma State.
Boy, and a huge win for Iowa State. Now 4-3, and Norman today in double overtime.
They were down 6 in the first overtime. LeCompte hits a 3. Money, his second 3 of the night. He has hit 8 of his last 15 threes. Had the big performance at K-State when he had 26.
Yeah, he gives Baylor a true point guard, but he also can make shots. He was a career 43% three-point shooter in his 2 years at Miami.
LeCompte attacks. And a foul's going to be called here on Joe Luala-Achuil. Achuil's got his first foul.
Achuil, he is perfectly made for Baylor's zone, sitting on that back line. Leads the Big 12 in blocks. We don't even have to tell you how big he is for you to see his length and athleticism as he goes to the bench. You know, they had Rico Gathers back on that back line last year, who was a smart defender there, but he wasn't a rim protector. And really, for Baylor to elevate their defense in that zone, you have to have a guy in that back line as a rim protector. And then that allows Baylor to move Motley to a wing.
I think he's top 7 in the nation in blocks. Foul on Baylor.
Omot coming off the good game against Texas. We had 14 points, and he can really drive it at his size. And so Shepard, the veteran, as a senior, understanding that, gets good defensive position. And that's a big play right there. As TCU continues to get stops, you know, until they can get things going offensively.
Bain, excellent looking freshman.
Boy, an example again of the length. It's not just about block shots. It's about altering shots at the rim. Bain thinks he's got a clear path, and then Motley rotates over.
TCU, Brendan, already has 5 offensive rebounds in the first 7.5 minutes of the game. This is a 2 by Alex Robinson, the Texas A&M transfer.
Yeah, I love him because he's a good player. But this is second game that you and I have had them. He is tough, and he is not scared to go make plays. And if you watch TCU and their improvement, the biggest noticeable thing is Robinson and Fisher, the upgrade they give them at the guard position.
Wow, what a save by Ish Wainwright, and what a finish by Jonathan Motley.
Wainwright is a smart player. He retrieves that ball, and you know it's a broken floor situation. He immediately faces up and sees Motley and gives him a perfect pass for the lay-in.
Wainwright right now is one of the more undertold stories in the Big 12. Robinson was hunting that one, but it's almost chased down by Desmond Bain. Baylor different this year. They are flat guarding and making it hard on every possession. Now number 5 Kentucky will host Kansas in the SEC Big 12 Challenge next week. I'll be here. TCU will take on Auburn. Auburn had a tough game today against the Alabama Crimson Tide. One of the big differences in Baylor this year has been Ish Wainwright, the 5th-year senior. But what has he done for this team that doesn't show up on your score sheet?
He's one of those guys for Scott Drew that has gradually developed each and every year. Gives him leadership, intelligence, toughness. And, you know, he doesn't get a lot of looks at the basket. And so when those younger guys come in and say, hey, I don't know why I'm getting more looks, Wainwright says, hey, wait a second. You know, we're about winning here. And I think that he negates any negativity that could come about from young guys with his maturity, because you can't say anything, because here's a senior who's all about winning and not about getting his. But he and a guy also like Jake Lindsey, who has the ball right there. And he gives Baylor, along with Lindsey, just a calm feeling out there on the floor.
And a foul now on TCU. But we need to compliment TCU here. They have 7 offensive rebounds. The Frogs are 3 of 17 from the field. All 7 of their points are second chance points. 7 offensive rebounds.
Well, they're going. But when you've missed 14 shots, you're going to have opportunities for offensive rebounds.
Yeah, but you see teams that just go in the tank when they don't make shots.
And it's difficult. The thing about Baylor and their half-court defensive set, I mean, when you think you have a shot, whether it's at the rim or even on the perimeter, they close out and contest so quickly. And that gap closes fast.
Ish Wainwright could maybe bail the Bears out in Manhattan when he hits some big threes. Just 33% from 3. Fisher decides to crank it.
When you look at a couple possessions as of late, Mitch, Robinson and Fisher a little bit quick out front. It gets a little bit frustrating, and it's tough over time if the shots aren't coming easy. And that's what Jamie Dixon's saying right there. Hey, let's get the ball moving first, and let's see what happens from there.
Monday on ESPN, an ACC Big 12 doubleheader coming up. Is going to the line, Al Freeman for Baylor. Number 18, Duke, will host NC State at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then it's Red River rivalry time. Oklahoma had the heartbreaking double overtime loss at home to Iowa State. They'll take on Texas. That's going to be at 9 Eastern. Big Monday presented by eBay on ESPN. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Now Freeman hits 1 of 2. Baylor's lead is 5. And Robinson creates an opportunity. He'll go to the line.
And Baylor in man there, that possession, Mitch. And Scott Drew has played more man this season than he has any other year. And I think that's really benefited them. The zone is great, but their man, this is my opinion, is the best it's been since he's been in Waco. And right there, Robinson, he was excellent going left. And when he goes left, he's looking to drive. A rare opportunity because the hedge on the ball screen was late. Robinson recognizes it, turns the corner.
Robinson doesn't particularly like this. He's just 58% of the line, although he's a good shooter. And right now he has 6 of the 8 TCU points. But I'm going to ask you about Baylor, whether it's zone or man. It's obvious they're way better defensively this year. 9th in the nation in scoring defense. Why the vast improvement?
Well, I think on the back, again, it goes back to Achuril on the back line of the zone, which allows Motley to be on the wing. They have intelligent guards in Lindsey, a guy like Wainwright. Freeman's been here for 3 years, played a lot of minutes, and they understand what Scott Drew wants defensively.
Maston, TCU went zone, and Maston got a terrific short corner, tiny corner look.
Terry Maston, if he's your third post player, you're in business. He's a guy that had some really good moments last year. He consistently can score off the bench. 8 points a night, shoots 55% from the floor.
Brittany had a career-high 17 against TCU a year ago. And the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week, Brodzianski, with the dunk.
And that's a rare time so far that TCU has got the touch in the high post or mid-post area. And when the defense converged, with a nice little bounce pass along the baseline to Brodzianski.
Frog stays zone.
Watch Brodzianski right there, hiding along the baseline, and they're going to get the ball flat. And as Bain flashes to the high post, you're going to automatically draw attention. And then Brodzianski, terrific job of making himself available, but he was patient. And that's what we're talking about when you play Baylor, in getting the ball below the free throw line.
And an excellent Baylor possession. They were down to 5 seconds on the shot clock, didn't panic. And now they've had 2 shots at or near the rim against TCU zone.
Well, they're going to start their offense inside out. They're going to get that touch and put pressure on you defensively.
Good closeout by Maston. Brodzianski with the offensive board. Vladimir Brodzianski had 28 here against Kansas. 25 and 14 rebounds against Iowa State, one of the most improved players in this league.
And he's a skilled player, and he was last year as a sophomore. You could see his upside potential. But what has happened, along with Jamie Dixon's coaching, he is adjusted to the physical play of the Big 12. And you're going to get a look right here. I mean, he's strong, aggressive, and active. He's got lots of length. And he told us today one of the areas that he's improved on is when he catches the ball, he keeps it high. He doesn't bring it back down to allow those guards to come stripping. And another thing, Mitch, Jamie Dixon has him doing everything inside the arc. Last year attempted 43 threes. This year he's only attempted 8.
He only shot 33% out there beyond the arc. And he's sneaky. He had a big 3 against Iowa State. So he'll float out there and pop one. But what he's doing at the rim on both sides, offensively and defensively, is profound. And a tip-in. Lau Alchuil.
You asked what Ish Wainwright brings to this team. You mentioned the leadership and the maturity, but right there had the interior position and kept that ball alive.
TCU is going to get chasing after every loose ball and every missed shot. But so far, number 6 Baylor has met their match. When they had struggled, they let a couple slip away, but they get that one. Interesting as we look at the standings, though, you had a clog of 4 3-3 teams. 3 of those teams had exact overall records. So K-State moves up. Iowa State gets the double overtime victory. Now here's TCU. What will they do? Tech lost at home.
I mean, if that doesn't illustrate the balance and depth of this league, you know, I don't know what does. And you look down at Texas, which has talent. Oklahoma State, who played much better today in a win at Lubbock, has Juwan Evans. They're 1-6. Oklahoma, 2 wins from a team that last year went to the Final Four. But also notice who's still at the top. Yep. Those Kansas Jayhawks.
TCU gets burned in their press. It bothered Baylor earlier, but the Bears slide down the floor easily.
This is an intelligent, skilled passing Baylor team. They understand. You have Manu Lukan, obviously a playmaker at the point, but Freeman makes very few mistakes. Wainwright, as we talked about, a guy that understands the game. Jonathan Motley's skill. So you got to be careful with your pressure. Make sure that back end is protected.
Luala-Tuil doesn't like the line, just 51%, but again, top 7 in the nation in block shots. He had 7 blocks against Oregon. But the schedule that Baylor has played, you can't ignore it. They have beaten really good teams. Only loss on the road at West Virginia when they were ranked #1 in the country for the first time in their school history. Wainwright, a tie-up, and TCU has the arrow.
When you're shooting about 20% from the floor, you have to be relentless on the glass. Now watch it. Here's Brodzianski keeping the ball alive, tipping it out front. Watch Shepard, the senior right there, battling with Wainwright, another offensive rebound. And then here's Kenrich Williams, maybe the best rebounder in the Big 12 Conference. Relentless right there. Finally, Brodzianski gets one, has some space to finish. But when you're playing a team in Baylor that doesn't turn it over much, we just talked about how skilled they are on the perimeter. You have to find ways, if you're not shooting the ball, to score. TCU's got to continue to attack the glass until they can get going offensively. And that's why they're within 6 points and shooting in an abysmal way.
But here's what Jamie Dixon has brought to TCU. They've out-rebounded 14 teams. They played 18 games, and one of those was tied. And they've only lost one of those games where they out-rebounded the opponent, and that was midweek when they lost to Texas Tech.
And what a difference a year makes. TCU was 10th in the Big 12 Conference last year in rebound margin.
Brodzianski, enough defense at the rim to make it hard on Jonathan Motley. I mean, every shot is contested. Fisher struggling from 3. 0 for 4 from 3. And it's been a trend. He had an 0 for 8 stretch. He hit 4 at Texas in their win at Austin. But chilly tonight.
And when Brodzianski is on Motley, Mitch, they're leaving it alone. They're not digging down or doubling off. They feel like Brodzianski, who's come a long way defensively. Second in the Big 12 at blocking shots. He's done a great job of making Motley go over the top.
Six to shoot.
They're going to be solid right here.
Lecomte with the step back. TCU's not shooting a lick, but they're defending and rebounding and staying in the game. A Tuesday on ESPN, it's another great doubleheader of hoops. #2 Kansas, we just talked about them. They go to West Virginia. The Mountaineers will be mad. That'll be at 7 Eastern. Then we'll go back to the SEC, a rivalry game. #5 Kentucky goes to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. Super Tuesday, presented by CenturyLink on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN.
Right now, Mitch, you have two teams that are defending at a high level. Baylor's been terrific all year, making it tough on TCU, but TCU getting stops. Again, trying to buy time till they get a shot to fall.
They get it to fall. I told you, Brodzianski's sneaky. Just when you go to sleep, he'll slip out there and shoot one, and he gets a 3 to get the Frogs within 3.
He doesn't shoot as many. That's 4 out of 10 on the year. But he has the ability to do this. He's a skilled big man at 6'10". And you got Achuil on you. Achuil falls asleep a little bit on the weak side. Watch him. Bring that to me. High and soft, great catch and shoot right there. That's a big bucket.
Fisher. Tie. Baylor timeout. Just under 4.
What you love about this young freshman from TCU, Mitch, is his toughness. Has not made a shot from three, but he continues to take them. The confidence to do it, knocks it down. This thing is tied up.
Brendan, give my old Wahoo friend, Corey Alexander, a little nudge there. All right, here's the deal. And Corey will tell you, this is the way Virginia plays. Teams that can't score struggle sometimes keeping their defense in effort and offensive rebounding up. The Frogs, with 7 offensive rebounds, just kept plugging, and then they started to hit some shots.
And that's one of the mentalities or the change in culture that Jamie Dixon has brought. I mean, you watch his pit teams over here. I mean, they don't only guard it, but they had tremendous toughness. And you have to be good enough at all 5 defensive positions to string a series of defensive stops together at different times in the game. Sometimes it'll extend leads for you, and sometimes it'll get you back in ball games. There's a little mismatch right here.
First lead of the night for TCU. Robinson with the breakaway layup and one of the few easy buckets for either team in this first half.
And when Wainwright took his time there, he got casual with the ball. Fisher able to knock it free to Robinson.
And Maston has given good minutes to Baylor in this first half. An offensive rebounding team like TCU hates to give up offensive rebounds.
Well, Maston right there again gives Baylor such good depth at the 4 and 5 off the bench. Good touch to go over Brodzianski right there.
Four to shoot. Baylor zone being good here. And a shot clock violation. Baylor went back to the zone and suffocated the Frogs that time.
What Baylor protects so well. Certainly not allowing you to get to the rim, to the heart of the defense. They don't let guards get too deep. And then when you kick out, as you saw in that possession, they are so good at the closeout. Part of that's the length. You know, not every big can advance that on the floor and break down and then protect against the drive as well. They do such a good job of having enough cushion to protect against the drive, but close enough where they're there on the catch to contest the shot.
Lecomte in rhythm. Manu Lecomte has 9 points, all on threes. A transfer from Miami when he was with the Hurricanes. He's second, actually, in Miami history.
Look at
43%.
Yeah, Mitch, look at Lecomte right here. He's going to run along the baseline to break free. This is a great catch and shoot. You see Brodzianski with his back to him. Doesn't see it. No communication when he made the cut. And that's just too great of a distance for Fisher to catch it.
Did the Baylor big drag Brodzianski up where he lost awareness?
Absolutely.
Okay, a real problem. Baylor just got a second foul on Motley. He bails out TCU. Has some contact, maybe create a little bit by Jalen Fisher. Will give TCU a chance to score when they had no shot.
With the exception of Motley being a little overzealous there, I cannot tell you how good that defense is. Because it's not as if tonight, for the whole half, Mitch, that TCU has been passive. The ball movement has been crisp, but they've been cutting hard. When they catch, particularly Fisher and Robinson, and they think there's a crack, they're trying to drive it. I mean, they're doing everything they can, what Coach Jamie Dixon talked about heading into this game. But Baylor is so good, not only on the ball, but away from it. You just cannot get a good look.
Fisher has 4 in the first half. Originally signed with UNLV. And then with the coaching change there, changed to TCU. The highest rated recruit ever signed to play here at TCU. got robbed at the rim. McCann again with 3 made threes. And a foul on Terry Maston of Baylor. It's his 3rd.
Small thing right there, Mitch. But that's what Robinson and Fisher give this team offensively. They can create just enough help, whether it's off ball movement and attacking or off a ball screen, and then they can complete the pass. TCU has not had that in recent years. And there's Fisher, the freshman. And the only thing with both these guys coming into tonight through 6 Big 12 games is they can be a little bit turnover prone, but you would expect Robinson as a sophomore and Fisher as a freshman that they will learn to curtail those, as the season progresses in the Big 12 Conference. So far tonight, they've done a pretty good job of that.
Actually, Robinson had to set out last year after his transfer year from A&M. TCU a season low for a half shooting, but they're down only 1 because of their defensive effort. They've been good on these hedges too without fouling. The bonus 3 knocked down as Omot gets a 3.
Boy, he was great, as we mentioned, against Texas. 20 minutes, 14 points Tuesday. Junior from Indian Hills Community College. He's more of a stretch 4, but he's not just a shooter. He can drive it too.
Brzezinski answers 3 for 3. 10 first-half points for the first ever TCU player to be named Player of the Week.
Well, so much for me saying Jamie Dixon's restricted to him to inside the arc. It's like deja vu all over again. We saw that earlier in the half. Brzezinski, they're having trouble getting shots at the rim. Knocks it down. But Mitch, I cannot stress enough, where's the ball going? It's going flat along the baseline. Now, whether that's the short corner or the far corner as Brzezinski hits his second tray, you have to get it flat against Baylor. Sometimes your opportunities are drawing the low man and then be able to enter it into the post from there, and then sometimes it's that wide open tray.
Brzezinski's averaged 20 points and 8 boards in his last 4 games. He has shot 72% from the field. Most of those around the rim. Tonight, 2 threes to go with 2 near the rim, and 10 points to lead TCU.
He is consistently playing at a tremendously high level right now. Averaging 22 and 9, Mitch, over the last 3 games.
(15-second) differential. And the Frogs can play for the last attempt.
Well, regardless of what happens here on this offensive possession, Mitch, the fact that TCU will either be down 1 or possibly up after the way they shot it the first 10 minutes is amazing.
Kenrich Williams hits a 3. LeCoq's desperation is not there, and TCU leads 28-26. The Frogs this year 12-0 when they lead at halftime. And now let's get you to Brendan Fitzpatrick and Corey Alexander in the studio.
Mitch, thanks very much. How about that? A 3-point lead for the...
As expected, intense. Number 6 Baylor trailing by 2 at halftime to TCU on the road here in Fort Worth. Mitch Holthus back with you, along with Brendan Manzer. Okay, for TCU, they couldn't throw it in the ocean, but yet their effort and rebounding kept them in the game.
Well, both teams guarded at a high level, Mitch. I mean, it was not a deal where it was bad offenses at both ends. Tough, contesting everything, challenging, very few breakdowns. But Vladimir Brzezinski finally got the lid off the basket for TCU. kept balls alive on the offensive end. Patience waiting for his turn in the offensive set. Strong finishes as he has adjusted to the physicality of the Big 12. And then the two big threes that not only got his team going, got this crowd going, and they finished the half in a strong way. But again, like you said, really good defensively at both ends of the floor. Brodzianski fortunate to get TCU going on that offensive end. Been really good.
But here's what you need to know about Baylor if you don't already. They have trailed now at halftime 7 times. They're 17-1. They've trailed 7 times. They've won 5 of the 6 previous, including when they only had 24 against Louisville in the Battle for Atlantis tournament and came back to beat Louisville in that game. This team does not panic, and they've rallied 5 times from second half totals. They go right to Motley. That to me is the sign of a mentally tough team.
Yeah, right there in that possession, Mitch. The difference there is Motley was able to catch and get Brodzianski deeper, and that made the opportunity to go over the left shoulder that much easier. And keep in mind, in the second half, your offenses are in front of your benches, not your defense. And we'll see if that affects the intensity level defensively for either one of these teams.
A great play by Freeman, Brodzianski, and it's going to be last touch by TCU.
You know, another way outside of Brodzianski is offensive flourish in the latter part of the first half, Mitch, that TCU was able to stay in this game. There's 7 offensive rebounds that you've mentioned, and they only had 2 turnovers in the first half. So they took care of the basketball.
Boy, TCU just all over the rim, and yet staying with it, Luala-Tuilu, to get his second field goal of the game.
And what he did a nice job of is on his second and third effort, he kept the ball high. Luala-Tuilu right here. And there's a drive by Freeman to block. There's the effort, block from Kendrick Williams. You see him get that ball up high. Used his body to shield the defender. Able to kiss it off the window.
4 Baylor Bears have at least a 7-foot wingspan, including this guy, Motley, including him, Ish Wainwright. He had a big tip dunk against K-State. That was one of the better plays seen all year in college basketball.
And Brodzianski had Motley shoved further out there.
Brodzianski might have settled for that one, but it's saved with an offensive rebound. Good take, LeCompte. And a timeout by Jamie Dixon of TCU. Baylor tied their biggest lead of the game, up by 6 in the second half.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Angry Orchard Hard Cider. Branch out.
We're back here in Fort Worth, and Baylor opens up with an 8-0 run to begin the half. And doing work on the offensive glass, there's Tuilu. And there's Wainwright off the Motley miss, laying it in. And then a breakdown defensively. TCU did not have very many of those in the first half. And there's 6 of the 8 points. But all 8 points, Mitch, come from in the paint. And so Jamie Dixon quickly calls a timeout. And among other things, I promise you what he talked about is getting back to the intensity level and the focus that they had defensively in the first half, as Baylor too good to not be at your best defensively.
Yeah, and Baylor's had 2 field goals off offensive rebounds. So how difficult is it a learning time for the TCU team, because they had such intensity going into the half, but they've been a little casual here to start the second half.
I'd be surprised if that level doesn't pick up again. I mean, for a young team, they have shown a lot of maturity here in the Big 12 Conference.
Need to hit a shot, and they went to a friendly face. Kenrich Williams, one of the more underrated players in the league, nails the 3, his second of the night.
And I love Williams' versatility. He's that 3-4 type that, depending on your matchups, you can put him anywhere. You can knock down shots, you can post him, and he's a good passer as well. Yeah, you don't want that. Scott Drew didn't hesitate to tell Achuil that's no good right there.
And then Brazianski comes right back. They're going to call a late whistle and a foul. Joe DeRosa is going to call it against Luol Achuil.
Here's Williams. And I agree with you, Mitch. I mean, he's just a really good, smart player. Nice catch and shoot right there. 33% on the year. Stretch out if need be. And I love, he doesn't take bad shots. I mean, he takes shots within the flow of the offense. And he's a willing passer to keep the ball moving.
Tough. He is the best offensive rebounder in the Big 12 on average. He averages 10 rebounds a game. That's second in the league. A lot of those on the offensive end. And a nice answer out of Jamie Dixon's timeout by the Frogs.
Let's see if this is a more solid trip defensively for TCU.
Good deflection. It was Kenrich Williams. Kenrich Williams.
Well, that's a pretty play because Williams did a great job of mirroring the ball on Wainwright. It breaks loose, and then it touches your two best playmakers' hands and ends up right back to Williams.
Luol Achuil will nail this one. Now, he is 5 of 12 this season from 3. And Scott Drew, he's going to give Scott Drew a hard condition. Brazianski at a point blanker.
Kenrich Williams, he does it at both ends. We've seen him make the tray. And then a little deflection right here. A little defense leading to offense. There's Robinson, Fisher, Williams. TCU back within 2.
Three ties, 6 lead changes. Number 6 Baylor leads by 2 against a vastly improved and tough TCU team that had Kansas on the ropes here in Fort Worth in a possession-to-possession game that went down to the final 40 seconds.
Yeah, I think when you see Jamie Dixon, and I do this, I think of his teams at Pitt. I think defense and I think toughness. But you know, offensively, his teams have always been really efficient. I mean, executed really well. And you talk about execution, you're talking about shot selection, offensive glass, not turning it over, making sure the right guys touch it.
Luol Achuil and Brazianski holds the fort.
Brazianski, he's turned into such an intelligent defender, understands positioning so well.
Great hands by Ish Wainwright. The TCU will keep it. Wainwright, again, the role he is playing with this team and being the unabashed leader of this team, and then statistically will do enough. He's 5th in the league in steals and 5th in assist to turnover ratio.
And a great example of Baylor's personnel development.
Fourth turnover by the Frogs. Robinson faked out his own guy. Deep 3 by LeConte.
When Shepard given good minutes and possessions on the defensive glass right now.
Yeah, Motley hadn't touched it much in the last couple of minutes, and Baylor wisely goes to him.
And that's another reason he's so good. And passes up the shot. Agile enough, skilled enough to put it on the deck. And speaking of not touching it, Brazianski's got to touch it for TCU.
Tried off the deflection. Shepard can't finish. And Baylor throws away the outlet pass. 7 turnovers on the Bears, but that one was unforced. Reminder, Kansas and Kentucky. Next weekend is the Big 12 SEC Challenge. This will be the headliner, 6:15 Eastern. Rematch of last year's game, this time at Rupp Arena.
So now for TCU, you go take Shepard out, put in Parrish, so that makes TCU smaller. And you have Maston and Motley in there at the 4 and 5. We'll see how they match up on the other end.
Parrish. Just 6 of his last 22, and Lindsey on the attack. And there's your touch for Brodzianski.
That's smart right there because you had Motley on Kenrich Williams. Williams had him stretched out on the perimeter, so that takes away some of that length. You got Brodzianski, Maston slow to roll back to the defender, Freeman slow to cut it off from the weak side. I promise you, Mitch, when you're out on the floor and there's no Motley or Achuil in the paint, I mean, you know it. I mean, you could feel it. And that allowed Brodzianski that opportunity.
13. With a junior college transfer, played at Pratt with the Beavers in the Jayhawk Community College Conference in the Beaver Dome.
You guys had a fun conversation about Pratt today, didn't you?
My first place on the planet. Doing this, Motley inside against Brodzianski.
That's so good. That is so good defensively, I can't tell you. Walling up and going straight up and down on Motley.
Second in the league in block shots. And Fisher wheels around enough to get Brodzianski the dunk.
There's some more defense leading to offense for TCU. Watch this. I mean, Motley's giving him everything he's got. Brodzianski walls up, goes straight up and down. Good no call. And then here's Fisher. Merry-go-round right there. Drags 2 defenders with him. And then Brodzianski, don't underestimate or undervalue how he always pops open. He finds windows when Robinson and Fisher drive it. And little gaps that they can get him the ball.
How much of that is understanding the angles of the game now better than a year ago?
Right. Understand the angles. And he's got tremendous feel anyway. Some guys have that, some do not.
46 blocks now for Brodzianski. Second in the league and a turnover by Baylor. Bain fouled by Jake Lindsey.
Well, I think that Jamie Dixon early in this half, when he had to call timeout to recapture that defensive intensity, it's been recaptured. There's another forced turnover. A live ball turnover, allowing TCU to get out and run.
Bain ties it with that one, his first point of the game. He had 19 in an earlier game, but this is a freshman with high upside. And a good get by the TCU program out of Richmond, Indiana.
Kind of a sleeper prospect in a way. He can really score. Plays with tons of confidence. And he knows he belongs. 6 double-figure scoring games off the bench.
Now he and Fisher can be a nice duo for a while here at TCU, who now has the lead again. Maston foul. Jamie Dixon wanted to travel.
You'll notice every big on the interior post defensively for TCU, once Baylor catches it, they hold their ground. They don't go for pump fakes. They stay down. They're going to make you shoot over the top.
Ashton has 5. Ashton can get it done. 11 points in just 22 minutes, and they win at Oklahoma State and gives Baylor the lead back. Skip. Bain recovers and hits.
Boy, Shepard right there did a really good job because he got hit on the arm when he was passing out of the double team by Wainwright. But he came out of it strong, and the pass just got through to Bain. Here it is. Gets hit on the arm. See the strength? There's Bain. Pull-up jumper. TCU up 1. Playing tough. Crowd in it.
I'll be here next week. In fact, Auburn will come in here. Bruce Pearl will bring the Tigers in here to take on TCU. That Kansas-Kentucky game a headliner, but there's some fantastic matchups. Motley, they get into isolation out of the break, and he'll go to the line.
You had to anticipate the touch out of the timeout to Motley. If you're TCU, little misdirection play. You're able to get Motley rolling right there. Shots not coming quite as easy tonight as they did Tuesday night when he had 32 and 20 against Texas. And it's really not so much that Motley's not bringing it. That TCU's defense has been at a high level tonight, as has Baylor's.
Motley's had some other monster games, but the big monster, that 32-20 as you mentioned, only the 4th time in Big 12 history there's been a 30-20.
And Motley 4 of 11 from the floor. And they have made the big man a volume shooter in a sense.
Brodzianski running out of time. Another offensive board on the tip out.
That's just great effort. I couldn't see if it was Bain or Shepard that got their hand on that. But the soft bounce on the shot allowed TCU to get this extra possession.
Bain in the honey spot. Brodzianski with the hook, and this time Baylor with the board. And how hard is it to guard? You guard 33 seconds, and then you give up the offensive board. Motley with the length. Shepard's giving good minutes to TCU tonight. Motley's got the foul, and that's his 3rd.
Motley now 4-12 from the field. And watch this. This is early in the game, a couple minutes in. Hit his left hand, they had to tape him up. And he has struggled all night. Not saying that that's the reason. Maybe it's played into it. But the biggest part of it, look how far out on the floor that TCU has made him catch. And we saw that on the previous defensive possession with Shepard. As I mentioned before, TCU is so disciplined, strong. When that ball enters the post, they don't give ground, and they don't go for head and ball fakes.
TCU reboots, but only 7 to shoot. Brodzianski fouled with an offensive rebound. Omot called for the foul.
I don't need to tell you who to watch. It's number 10 in white. And these are first team all Big 12 players. Look at that. Gets the position. Able to shove underneath there. But he is so much more physical than he was last year. And it's not like he's a beast. I mean, he's still lean.
He's a whisker from a double-double tonight. 15 points and 9 rebounds, as you see. But it's against Baylor, one of the longest teams in the country. Williams trying to use the rim. And another offensive board. How devastating this. Baylor's playing great defense, but they can't get a rebound because TCU will go chase it.
It's the old adage, it's tougher to rebound out of a zone than it is the man. This is one of the things I like about Williams. I mean, smart on the cut back door. Doesn't get it the first time, but second time successful.
But Brendan, I don't care if they're zone or man. It's just TCU going and getting it. 11 for Kenrich Williams.
Well, number one, that's a staple of Jamie Dixon's teams. But look what you have out there in TCU. You have Brodzianski. You can throw Williams out there, who's the top offensive rebounder in the league. And then you've got size and Shepherd right now. So this is one of the few teams in the Big 12 that can combat the 4s and 5s on the interior of Baylor.
There's your trend. 7 ties, 11 lead changes. The biggest lead has been 6. Baylor just 2 for the last 10 until then, and that's a tough shot by Freeman.
Great job by Freeman right there. You know, he's one of those guys, you forget about him, but he is so solid. You know, and what I like about him, I mean, he's an excellent shooter, but he's also not afraid to put it on the deck with strength.
Big in their road win at K-State. He had 15 and a career-high 5 assists in that game in Manhattan. Oh, good pass! Kenrich Williams slips right down the lane. He's got 14.
That's not an accident. Williams has ended up with the ball in spots that makes that zone vulnerable. Smart player.
Six to shoot. Wainwright. Fisher out-rebounds Motley. Hands by Wainwright. And an offensive foul will be on LeConte. Joe DeRosa, elbow flies.
With TCU, this is not just a team that is playing well. This is a legitimately very good team in the Big 12 Conference. So one of the reasons they play together. There's a nice dive from the high post down the lane. Sweet pass from Shepherd, sharing it. TCU in control.
Number 6 Baylor trailing TCU here in Fort Worth, 46-45. And now let's take a look at tonight's Wendy's Wooden Watch. We got Jonathan Motley in this game. See what he's done, almost averaging a double-double and coming off that 30-20 game against Texas. But Frank Mason having an incredible season, and right now the league's MVP, if you'd had to do it tonight.
Yeah, and he's making a case, at least at this point. You know, we can talk about that, a long way to go, but to win the Wooden Award. He has another 17 points, 7 assists today against Texas. Vontae Graham, I think, had 18 and 5 assists. Kansas got off to a better start, getting off to slow starts in games, but today much better.
Look at Motley. 11 points, 6 rebounds. The Frogs have made it hard on him tonight. He's having to earn every one of those points. TCU, 15 buckets, 11 assists. Big stat, though, they're 12 offensive rebounds. This time Baylor doesn't even let TCU get a shot that they can go rebound.
Both these teams, and you saw it from Wainwright right there, when the shot clock has got under 10, nobody gambles. They make it tough. And that's good coaching, and that's intelligent as defenders taking care of their individual assignments. And Wainwright, a terrific job not letting Williams turn the corner and break down the Baylor defense.
Underneath. Achuilo getting a point blanker. He's got 9-7 in the second half, and Baylor regains the lead.
That's pretty skilled play right there. Used the backboard and glass to protect himself right there. In this league, Mitch, as you know, there are so many grinders in close games. And I always look, once you get under that 8-minute media timeout, when you mark it down, the team that gets the most stops down the stretch wins the game. That's the bottom line.
LeConte, this could be an over and back. It is. LeConte got too deep underneath. Hey, Monday on ESPN, it's an ACC Big 12 doubleheader. Number 18 Duke will host NC State at 7 Eastern. Then the Red River rivalry hits the hardwood. Oklahoma takes on Texas. Big Monday presented by eBay on ESPN. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
And to be more specific about what I was saying right there, Mitch, it's a series of stops, 3-4 possessions straight.
Great defense. Achuilo was able to have force Shepard. Jamie Dixon wanted a foul before the turnover. 7 turnovers on the Frogs.
Let's take a quick look. Good call. Went off Shepard's leg.
I'm going to tell you, this has been a very well officiated game, and this is a hard game to do. Deep three from Freeman. Robinson, nice step back. And Kenrich Williams, again, the best offensive rebounder in the Big 12, just did his work, and TCU's back in front.
What a great job of covering tons of ground to go get that. And that's not just effort, that's also feel. Big time rebound, crucial rebound from Williams.
LeConte set up on the dribble penetration. TCU's ball, and maybe a little fatigue right now for Manu LeConte.
Watch Williams, he's right here. I mean, he is 23 feet from the basket. Here's the miss. Here he comes, boom. Soft hands, and immediately goes back up. Doesn't waste any time, allow the defense to converge. And there's your best offensive rebound in the Big 12 Conference, Kenrich Williams.
And he's an absolute, like, Army Ranger paratrooper and going to get in these missed shots. And he does it every night. Second in the league. Only Motley's better in the league in rebounding. This would be big, Bradzianski. And now a foul as Williams, a little too much action there trying to chase and miss.
Yep. Bradzianski has not been able to hide in the corner like he did in the first half. Motley, a quick closeout and using his length there to contest that shot.
Baylor still a ways from the bonus. Just 14 fouls on TCU in this second half.
So neither one of these teams have been able to get to the rim off the bounce.
Wainwright drills the three. He was just 3 for his last 18 from bonus distance, but those 3 were at K-State in critical times.
And he's been in so many of these wars over the years with Baylor. And this is nothing new to him. And the moment is not going to make him shy away of going out and making a play.
Kenrich Williams. A little too far out there. He has 2 threes tonight after coming into the game 2 of his last 15. 16 lead changes, 12 this half. Scott Drew wants timeout. Ish Wainwright, the 5th-year senior from Kansas City. Leadership, off the floor, on the floor, big shots.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and the new Volkswagen Golf All-Track, soon to be everywhere.
Gerald, we got a really good one here in front of the largest crowd in Schollmeyer history. This is a brand new arena. They lost a few seats when they did a fabulous job of redoing this place, but well-played game, man. This has the feel of an NCAA game.
Really well defended. I mean, at a high level. And I love that. You know, I played for Eddie Sutton at Oklahoma State. If you're familiar with him.
Well, he'd love this game.
Yeah, Mr. Iva would love this game. And the offenses haven't been bad, since the defenses have been better.
Set play, Motley. Little back screen lob, and Motley able to finish. Good play out of the timeout by Scott Drew.
And they got the mismatch right there. And all you had to do was throw it up to his length. And a rare, easy basket.
Shepard needed that one. Lindsay with a big board. Mitch Holthus with you along with Brendan Manzer. An excellent game tonight. Number 6 Baylor being tested big time by the vastly improved TCU Frogs.
And TCU has to trust the defense that they've played that's allowed them to be at this point against the 6th-ranked team in the country.
Giant possession here. Big shot by LeCompte. 13. And that ties the biggest lead of the game for either team at 2:27 to go.
Well, here's reason 1 and reason 2 that Baylor is a top 10 team. And you get confusion there with Shepard and Robinson. Allows Motley the easy position off the sideline out of bounds play. And then Manu LeCompte, the transfer from Miami. You go behind right there. I mean, he's confident enough, intelligent enough. It lets the game slow down, knocks down the jumper. That's a huge couple of possessions for Baylor out of the timeout.
Hey, tonight after Miami and Duke, don't miss Sports Center at night. Lisa Kearney and Kevin Connors, they'll have highlights from the college hardwood, NBA, NHL, Australian Open, NFL playoff news, the championship games tomorrow, Career Builder Challenge. What else do you want? Sports Center at night after college hoops on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. Here, this has been everything we thought it would be. 2 teams that just will not back down, and now Baylor finally with a chance to get a breath up 6.
And we'll see where TCU goes. See what they do with Brodzianski. Starts in the right corner.
Motley's on it. Baylor's in man. Fisher off the skip. And Kenrich Williams with the offensive rebound. He's relentless, Brendan.
He will not let you body up. Even if you go to check, turn to check off, as Wainwright did, he doesn't let you get that contact.
Kenrich Williams. 16 points, 11 rebounds.
And Jamie Dixon decided to come back to his alma mater. And anytime
he shoots a changeup.
Yeah. Anytime a coach, though, Mitch, makes a change, I mean, they're looking at the roster and what's there. And he told us a month ago he was, from the get-go, excited about Kenrich Williams. Coming off the injury last year, we had to sit out. I love what Coach Dixon has brought. This is not a situation where they came in and said, hey, you know, once we get our guys in, we're going to win games.
Let's don't completely forget Trent Johnson on this. Because he had Kenrich Williams, he got Vlad Brodzianski.
Alex Robinson.
He got Alex Robinson.
No, absolutely.
And I think Jamie Dixon would admit that. But what he has brought, and to your point, it's not, well, wait till I get my guys.
That's right. They have completely come in expecting to win right now.
Brodzianski again, able to hold Motley. And Motley has fouled for the 4th time. So Motley now deals in the last 91 seconds with just one more foul, or he's eliminated.
You'll see Motley. See him right there, left hand, right on that number 10 in the back of Brodzianski. And Robinson missed Parrish, a good three-point shooter in the corner. There was some confusion defensively for Baylor. But Robinson able to get deep enough to the cup to force the help. And as you know, when you have good offensive rebounders, those are great opportunities for them.
TCU's been scoreless in the last 3:51 until Brodzianski hits that free throw. He is now 5 of 6 at the line, 17 points for Vladimir Brodzianski.
So your TCU, you're down 6, you get the stop. The last possession. Got to string another one here together. Pick up full court.
Boy, saved by LeConte. Will he attack? He will. Achuil. LeConte. What he has brought to the point guard position in the great tradition of Baylor point guards. And now, off TCU, and Jake Lindsey wants to head the officials to take a look at it.
They're going to take a look at this right here.
Jake Lindsey went immediately to Patrick Adams and said, you got to look at the monitor. And of course, Jake weaned on basketball. His dad, of course, the general manager of the Utah Jazz.
And Jamie Dixon, you're going to get a look right here. I said TCU ball. That go off.
Looks like it went off Achuil's shoulder. Of course, that's where the 7'3" wingspan goes against you, being 7 foot. Ooh, that.
It's tough to tell whether it went off Brodzianski's hand or his shoulder.
You see a little daylight there, though, on that instance. But I'm going to say this again. Joe DeRosa, Patrick Adams, and Brooks Wells. This has been a hard game to officiate. And they've done a very good job.
Yeah, they've done a great job. And one of the reasons they've been able to do a great job is defensively, these teams have been so sound. Correct position, have had few breakdowns. So you have very few angle plays. Here's a better.
I don't know. There it looks like you got some air.
Yeah, it looked. So that angle looked like it goes off Brodzianski's hand, and it went over Luchill's shoulder. Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah.
So credit Jake Lindsey. His dad would be very proud of him. You know, Jake Lindsey's got a foot in both buckets of this game. Jake Lindsey's granddad was a football coach at TCU. F.A. Dry, very respected here. But now Baylor's got a 6-point lead and the ball, and TCU running out of time.
We'll see if TCU right here traps the first pass. The last possession, it was a near miss. They got the loose ball, but it went right into LeConte's hand.
Ish Wainwright was able to run the baseline the last inbounds. He cannot here. TCU has fouls to give. And LeConte able to call timeout before the turnover.
Yeah, smart play right there. Obviously had the timeouts, and he's in no man's land right as he crossed midcourt.
TCU has a foul to give, so they could be aggressive on this inbounds play or a trap, could they not?
And I would anticipate that he would be aggressive, Mitch. But if they don't get a turnover, you know, off a first trap or second, he may rely on his defense one more time. And you're kind of at that spot, 26 on the shot clock, a minute 8.
But with a foul to give, I can bring a saber saw to this trap. I mean, I can flat get after it.
That's exactly right.
And you're just going to inbound it.
Yeah, you can take more chances. Also, if you're at TCU, you're looking at personnel on the floor on who to foul for Baylor.
And there's the foul on Wainwright, and there's your hard foul. But that's one to give. Now the next one will go to the bonus.
Yeah, and Bain really had a chance. Wainwright shows him the ball. Watch Wainwright. He's going to show Bain the ball right. He's going to turn right there. Well, that was a chance.
And TCU has
to
the
tie
arrow.
it up right there. Yeah.
TCU has the arrow.
Well, you want them to face up in a trap right there. And that just gets the ball in perfect position to tie him up.
Marley may do it. LeConte set it all up with a great assist. Biggest lead of the night. Radzianski with a tough shot. Radzianski, 2 TCU Horned Frogs with double-doubles. Radzianski 19 and 10. Kenrich Williams 16 and 11.
And watch this right here. This is what really makes Baylor that much better this season. Not that Lester Medford didn't do a great job last year when they moved him from the 2 to the 1. He was terrific. But he was really a 2 guard. Manu LeConte is a primary ball handler and a playmaker. And his ability to put it on the floor and allows them to help close out games.
Yep. But let's give Scott Drew some credit here. A lot of coaches will go after a point guard last, or they go after a big. He had, let's go down this line. Kenny Cherry, Pierre Jackson, Tweety Carter. I mean, 6 of the last 7 Baylor point guards have earned all Big 12. All 7 are playing professionally. He targets it. He goes, finds the point guard first, and then builds around.
And going back to Carter, you know, Carter is gone, and you go, well, what are they going to do at point guard? Here comes Pierre Jackson. Pierre Jackson leaves. Well, what's Baylor going to do at point guard? Here comes Kenny Cherry. And then Lester Medford, which was a terrific job last year, as I mentioned, into Manu LeConte. What's interesting is if you break down all 5 of those guys, their games, they're different. And he allows them to be who they are. And as I said earlier, that's another reason that Baylor has become one of the most consistent programs, consistently good programs in the country.
And LeConte will try to close it out. This will be his first free throws of the night. And by the way, he's 4th in the league at making these. He makes 4 out of every 5. I heard explain your guards or your closers, like Mariano Rivera for all those years with the Yankees. Your guards close out games.
And in this league, I mean, it's unbelievable. Monte Morris, Frank Mason, all those guards at West Virginia. Jordan Woodard at Oklahoma. Juwan Evans at Oklahoma State. These 2 guards here at TCU. Manu LeConte.
K-State building some. Kamal Stokes is in that, will be in that conversation. This guy right here, Jalen Fisher. And I'm going to give Baylor the biggest compliment I can give them, Brendan, is the fact that they have trailed now at halftime 7 times. If they win, this will be the 6th time they pulled it out in the second half. Their scoring margin, they're plus 11 in the second half. Louisville, you go down the line, they have beaten really good teams, trailing in the half, but getting it done in the second 20. That's a sign of toughness to me.
Defensive ability. I think the ability to go man late in games. Speaking of closing out, to get stops. You got a big man that can score. You got good point guard play, and you got pieces around those guys, not only in the starting lineup, but even when you go to the bench.
LeConte missing the front of a one-on-one, leaves the door open for Robinson. Baylor ahead. We ask, can they challenge Kansas?
Look at this one right here.
And their challenge crossover game, they go to Ole Miss. Ole Miss pulled one out today on the road at Missouri.
And in a Big 12 championship race perspective, this is huge, because remember, West Virginia is now 4-3 in the league. If Baylor were to drop this game, that sets them just 7 games in. They'd be 2 behind Kansas.
Well, Kansas already won here too. They'd already won at TCU in a game just like this. That was a hard game, just like this one. But if you're thinking Baylor and ahead beyond the Big 12, now you're talking about them a 1 or a 2 seed. They had a 3 seed in 15, a 5 seed in 16. They have beat Oregon, Louisville, Xavier. 5 wins against the top 25. Only Florida State and Butler have done that.
Well, I'm impressed with Baylor, but I cannot tell you how impressed I am with TCU. This is a good basketball team. They defend well. The upgrade in point guard play. Those 2 guys you see on your screen right now, Robinson and Fisher behind him, get the best offensive rebounder in the conference. Brodzianski has developed. We didn't hear much from Parrish today, but he's a specialty guy that can make shots. This is a very good TCU team.
And how about the fans here? Going to lose this game. They were chanting TCU. TCU, because they know the Frogs are real. A heck of a game. The Baylor Bears win 62-53. Your thoughts on the Bears and the Frogs?
Well, TCU, as I said, a program that has made tremendous strides quickly under Jamie Dixon. But Baylor, another tough road win from a tough-minded team.
Final score, Baylor wins it. Number 6 wins it 62-53. Now let's go to the Big West. Long Beach State and Cal Poly.